Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of the Be My Own Boss podcast with Mr. Mike Hruby.
Hi, Steve. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
And so this week, as you guys know, the last six weeks have been the Boston Massacre, all 6 parts. This week, I'll somehow put the last 3 together, and we'll make that second part. So again, go to Be My Own Boss podcast, the YouTube page. You guys should all already be subscribed to it, even if you're watching here or wherever. You should already be subscribed to it, and on there you can find parts 1 through 3. We'll get up 4 through 6, but today we're just going to kind of do a little recap, or what was your term for it, Mike? What were you saying?
Lessons learned.
Lessons learned. So a recap / lessons learned from the 6 parts. And actually, let's see if I know that we just kind of are getting started here, and it's midday on a Monday. But for any people that join, you might not be joined yet. But let's see if you guys can play along. Maybe as we do some of these, you guys can throw in what you remember. Any comments, but also say hi. Just say hello. Say what up. What's up, Bud Soda? What's up, Traveler? How you guys doing? Hey, everybody's getting a shout out today, so say hello if nothing else. But if you want to, let's be interactive today.
Excellent. I think that's good.
Yeah, but so should we?
I can
go
want
first. To start walking us through?
Yeah, I'll go through mine. I mean, you look at something like this, you say, well, what did we do it for? And the answer is you do it to learn, extend your reach, but you do it to get a much better grip on the issue and share that with others. And the thing that really surprised me the most, hello, Go Gig It, is that learning. Now I've been working with the exact wording now for 13 years. I learned that there are actually 9 separate tests, hurdles, traps in ABC labor law. And I had not known, bless you, I had not known that before. I was always going, probably like everybody else in the country, I'm going on, 3 prongs, 3 tests, let it go. No, there are actually 9.
So before he goes any farther, you guys put in the 9 in the chat, or any of them that you guys remember. You guys remember any of the prongs? Think back to ABC California. So even if you remember only those 3 main ones, but do you guys remember any other ones? And then Mike can keep going, but I want to see if anybody types in anything here. I want to see how bold you guys are.
I think they're pretty bold. But Soda says he's been doing 18 hours a day. So
yeah,
giant roadie roots.
Hey, what's up, Rick? How are you?
So that was new to me. I had not known that, and I certainly wished I'd learned sooner. But you learn it when you do, and then you go forward with it. So we're going to be tweeting that out, and we may talk about it again in another program here. But it's important to know that every one of those little tests, like free of direction, according to the contract, free of direction, in fact, each one of those is a test that can sink an entire relationship, or in the case of Uber and Lyft, can sink a decade's worth of business development of riders and drivers and relationships with the public, to sink them because of the whims of a law enforcement and because of the way the law is structured. So didn't know that at all. Totally new.
So I do want to ask, because I don't know if you remember when I've had her on many times, but if you remember when I had Kim Cavan on about her lawsuit with Pacific Legal Foundation too?
Yes.
Okay. So even then we were talking about how the 3 prong became a 6 prong, which is is the federal one really 9 too, or is it 6?
At this moment, I don't recall the wording used in the PRO Act clear enough to, characterize it. But my understanding was, and has been, that they took the California AB5 language and used it verbatim. and California AB 5 came directly from Massachusetts, Chapter 149, Section 148B. So I'm assuming it is. It depends on how they counted. Maybe they counted. You said there were 6. They might have taken out. Let's see, down from 9. They might have made the second test as one test. I see it as 2 because there are 2 areas to fight over. They might have taken the first 4 phrases and actually combined them into 2, and that reduction would be helpful. That's 1, 2, 3, and then they might have done almost anything in the third area and gotten my 9 down to their 6. So without knowing the text of what Kim was suggesting, I can't answer it.
So Bud Soda says, what? So they expect you to never know any party that just mills, but I think he says the Nix's business.
Yeah, they're not in Massachusetts. They're not teaching any lessons here except the fine. They didn't say what was violated. They didn't talk about where the AG actually dinged them. There no discussion of that. And there may be legal reasons for doing it, but it's not in the national or the state's business interests to not let people know there's a speed limit here, and you can't here's what it is, as opposed to just go slow school zone. How many MPH?
You know what I do remember though, again, most of the listeners are either my age, some are a little older, but most of them are younger than me. But what I remember from driving school is that I do remember that, and I'm not saying this fixes anything, but just to make a quick point, I just wanted to say that I remember them saying, so what do you drive in a neighborhood? 25. You did have to kind of know some things, but I know what you're saying, but I just wanted to put that out there vocally, because I don't even know if they teach that anymore, because my son doesn't know that stuff. I mean, he does because he drives. Mm-hmm. But like when I would ask him questions that I had on a driver's test and that I really took seriously, like my son waited 9 months to get his license.
Good for him.
But I mean, I was down there the day I turned 16 and I was ready. I'd taken driver's ed, everything.
I was too.
Okay. So.
Dad, let's go get this now. I've been 16 for 8 or 10 hours.
But he did. So I just wanted to point this out because I think this is weird. I pointed out something weird about his school once before on another podcast, but so he did his entire driver's ed online, and then he gets me to sign that we drove 40 hours together. There was no road work, even at the test, done with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't that seem... I had a driver's ed person in my car for some of it, drove with my mom for some. When I took my test, there was a guy who made me take a road test.
Right.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Your son did not have a road test by someone from the state?
Nope.
Oh, interesting. No, I remember mine.
You just pass 20 questions on a computer in the DMV. So it's not, you go to a little portal and you just log in. And if you get, I can't even remember what it was. If you get 16 or more right, you get it.
Oh, good. We've got Massachusetts drivers must be working on that basis. I got my original driver's
Anyway, I had to say it, guys, because it bugged me when it happened. I never said it out loud. So there it is. I put it out there. And I just wanted anybody else to know what they thought, because I thought it was ridiculous they didn't give him a road test. But okay, sorry. Back to not knowing what speed is and not being transparent, as we always like to say that everything needs to be transparent. That's part of I think that's usually for me, that's the biggest part of all the problems when I get down to it.
Yeah, they're not clear on what the law actually does, but they want it that way. We have a major faction within government working very hard, most of the states, to keep anybody from knowing what the law is, because they're not actually trying to get good behavior. They're trying to make sure they get enough bad behavior to get bad headlines out of bad settlements like this one. So the whole thing, you could call it a perversion turned inside out of labor law.
Do you think either side of politics really wants anything defined, though? Or do you think that both sides kind of like it as vague as you can keep it?
No, I think they're two different party responses. I think the party of more centralized control is very happy with the way things are going. They don't aim to quit. The party of more individual opportunity is maintaining pretty good opportunity in the states like Florida, where it's fairly easy to start your own business, whatever that may be. And I don't see any effort to find a middle ground. The right would say, why compromise with a disaster that's only going to get worse? The left would say, why compromise with those guys? They're in the minority. So nothing. No, I would say to agree with your point, nobody's really legislating for the full spectrum of voters, but that's different from the full spectrum of beneficiaries.
Yeah. Well, I also was just kind of curious about the wording of the law. Like maybe they just don't want to, but to me, I guess what I was getting at was we kind of know where both camps sit on, like, if you follow this kind of stuff, like where they are with, like this side is going to be pro independent contractor, this side isn't, the kind of thing. But shouldn't both sides put out like, I mean, I'm just going to say a memo, like, shouldn't there be a memo saying, hey, listen, here's, where we stand, and here's the vagueness of the law, but here's what's up. Here's what you need to know.
Well, the way American law works is that problems are identified outside of the legislature, and they're identified among the public, and most skillfully and most notably among highly informed special interests, very broadly put, people with specialized focus, is where the new solutions and new problems come from. So they propose, and the legislature is dealing with thousands of bills. You name the legislature, and there are a lot of bills, and they can't possibly be expert enough to, on any one of those subjects. I mean, it goes all the way from international military and space efforts all the way down to microscopic things like the temperature of the coffee that you sell in coffee shops. And yet they're expected to legislate on every single one of those by all the people with an interest in that issue. So it's an impossible task, but that's where we go. That's where we go.
I think you and I even talked about it once, that like, assistants or two like senators and things like that might even be just briefing them.
Yes.
Like on a very, okay, here, this thing's this, that's it. This thing's that.
Well,
like they might not even be reading them. And again, I'm not calling anybody lazy. There are some who are, but I'm just saying that there'd be no way to read it all.
We've taken the bill that would free independent contractors to be independent contractors in all interstate work. We've taken that to 40 different congressional representatives in Congress, mostly on the right side. And on their own, they've very respectfully and very capably and helpfully told me, go get your own uproar. We're not going to change this without hearing from the voters. And you can understand that, but it's in one sense, it's good feedback, and that's how I took it. In another sense, it's sort of an abdication, because they either don't believe that it's a problem until there's a lot of screaming, or they're ducking the issue because they've got something else that they want to do more. So you can take your pick. These are good people. Some of them I've met personally. My dad went to high school at the same high school that one of them went to, and so I mean, it's not like we don't know each other at all. So anyway,
yeah, no. I just
you do what you can. That's why we're doing this. Is we're helping the affected public, that is all independent contractors, make an impact on Congress that this is an issue of their freedom and their ability to care for themselves and their families.
Mm-hmm. What did we have left? What was the other thing?
The second one that really astonished me happened partly during and partly after. But the settlement and the $175 million fine, the way it was written and nested in with other things like the unionization ballot question in Massachusetts, the whole thing sets up a form of collusion that's different than conspiracy. Collusion is a separate term. We'll go into that. Collusion among government organizations, labor unions, the apps themselves that people use, and the mainstream media. And the proof that that's happening is the ad, at least one ad that Uber took out during the Olympics, suggesting how valuable the benefits are of that come along with working with Uber as a platform. I'm not saying that I'm not making any accusations other than don't think that's something that Uber has pushed before. It's not something you'd normally say to a bunch of independent contractors, because contractors just work for contract. They don't. A guy who does resides part of your house doesn't want to know what kind of benefits you're going to provide about health care. No, his pension contribution, that's your business, pal. They just want, that's not what the buyer is interested in. So it shows that the app is now doing the work of the state benefits programs in promoting those. So that surprised me very much. But
so I'm going to bring up a image that I just found it. It took me a minute to find it. That is on Ron's page. Go Gig It, who is in Massachusetts. I'm going to share it here on the screen. And it's a community post that he did this weekend. Or I think maybe it was the end of last week, but let's see. Where do I do this? Okay. So I'll have to bring it down a size. There we go. Okay. So present. I'm going to share this screen. Okay. So what it says there at the top is it says the Boston Massacre Uber style. No Uber surge at 1:30 a.m. Sunday, meaning Saturday night, which is not real. Wow, drivers are going to starve and passengers are going to be delayed. Thanks, Rideshare Rodeo and Be My Own Boss podcast for this phrase usage, Boston Massacre.
Oh, excellent. Thanks, Go Gig It. Thanks, Ron.
So if you see what he's saying, though, see all the gray, Mike?
Yes, that's where
it should absolutely be surging. 1:30 on a Saturday night as all the bars are kind of rounding out.
Exactly.
It should all be yellow to red, but it's saying no, there's no business anywhere.
That's crazy. Does that mean that it's been overpriced?
No, it means that they aren't trying to get any more drivers to those areas because they already have more than enough. And with the new law, they're just not doing it anymore. They don't care. The wait times can go up. Passenger fees are going up, everything.
Oh my goodness.
So it's already started. Uber has
Right.
now already started it as, nope, we're gonna show you how we play in every other state. And as much as I always want the drivers to be helped, guys, we've been saying since the beginning, this is not a win. And it's not going to be a win.
This is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
That's what the what has essentially become regulatory capture of independent contracting websites.
Yep.
This is the beginning of that. And,
yeah, I mean, part of it is that they pass the fee along, then they add other junk fees to the line items because none of that's not allowed. So the price goes way up for the customer. The other thing that goes up is wait time. Now, if the customer wants a ride to the if they get $100 bid, or it used to be, say, $70 almost every time they went, the same day of the week, whatever, it would be a $70 trip. Now it became $100, but if you need it done in the time that you used to need it, expect it done like immediately, you're going to pay like $150, $60, $70.
I got hit with that in DC on a trip down there.
But I'm right. So there you go. So now what they're doing is they're going to try and make that happen to every passenger and say, no, well, that's Massachusetts for you. No, we didn't do it. Massachusetts did. And yeah, they're going to profit from it and the drivers aren't.
Well, thanks, Ron, for the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible.
That's nice.
I mean, that just means nobody. That means nobody that Massachusetts way better than I do, and that's a very large grayed out area.
I mean,
all of it. Yeah, all of it.
And
so
it's at 1:30 on Sunday morning. Give me a break.
That's
in all of those areas must be 300-400 minimum 300-400 people waiting for a lift, waiting for an Uber. Fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, it also means that all the people. See, here's how I take it though. As a driver myself, I take it as, damn, all the people in all of those gray areas, which I know my city would be like basically the entire city except for where the hotels are downtown. Right. There's no work.
That's crazy. There are so many places
because they're being paid for active time. So now they're going to show the drivers too. They're going to say, "You want to work for an hour? Well, get in your car for 3, and we'll give you an hour's worth of work."
Not working. It's not going to work.
No, but it's the way they keep them on the road because they heard about the 3250.
Yeah, that's we said that when we first started talking about this. That 3250 is bait, and both the Attorney General and Uber Lyft know it, and they're attorneys.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is a week into it. It's now in effect. This wasn't a January thing. It was now. It's in effect. This is a week into it. 1 week, and all of Uber's business has gone dead.
Oh, this is after the 15th. Is that when?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, not even. I'm sorry. 4 days. Sorry. 4 days into this.
Oh, that's right. From Friday, because Friday's the end of a pay period now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, we can't even get your own contract.
Right, and this is from Saturday night. It happened Friday. And Uber, that's how much they already have this boxed up, ready to move to any city.
Well, you have to have it.
So it's like, okay, here we're going to bring we're going to rip everybody off and point our fingers at you. The AG and Maura Healy and Andrea Campbell, who again, you guys are both, and Mike Johnston, Denver mayor, you too. You guys are all welcome to come on this podcast anytime you want.
That would be a fun discussion.
And it won't be hostile, but you're going to get real questions.
Yeah. Bud Soda adds that just like New York City, And those people are getting customers who are waiting are getting targeted by criminals, especially as they sit and wait longer, and it'll happen there too. So another safety hazard, waiting a long time, standing around, a couple singles, a couple of gals stayed together, they're just sitting ducks. They can't go, they can't stay. Not good policy.
Yeah, the drivers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it hurts everybody. I mean, look at Seattle. I don't know how we've got so this is getting fully sidetracked, but I just need to say, I mean, look at Seattle. They had the pay up legislation. Now, every driver, I mean, there's some drivers who claim that they do a little better or that they do kind of the same and whatever, but most drivers are suffering what New York's are. They can't get enough time on the platform. There's not enough volume of business like there used to be. The offers are few and far between. And then you have the platforms passing on, they jacked all the prices, and then they added line fees of Seattle ordinance, $5 outside of a long range delivery, which got added last week, $2 more. So that's $7 now if you live more than 5 miles away from the restaurant, plus all of the fees and taxes, or it says delivery fee, and then it'll say fees and taxes, and you don't know what the other fees are, but then that's where they jack up the cost of the items on the menu. And so now you've got the customers not ordering as much, and they just said that the three platforms, or I'm sorry, just DoorDash, because I don't remember what the total of the three was, but just DoorDash year to date is down $50 million.
Well,
because the restaurants aren't doing the volume because of the city ordinance. So they're trying, and however this works, Mike, you might even know. The committee in Seattle passed the pay up legislation. It is now gone. I know all states are different, but in Washington state, it has now gone above their head, been voted on by both sides or all sides or whatever to get rid of it. And they won't pull the trigger, but they've been told by their superiors, get rid of that now, because it's now hurting commerce in the city.
Is that at the city level, like the city council?
Yeah, the city council is the one that wants pay up, but even they openly have acknowledged it's not working. We need to revisit it. And the people above them have said, no, we don't. Get rid of it. Admit the fail. Get rid of it.
Usually what happens is some event that everyone regrets in public happens, and only then will the city council find the spine to be able to make the decision to go ahead with it. It's called the bloody shirt. Unless there's a bloody shirt, they're just not gonna move on it. They're the ones that approved it in the first place. Why go through the hazard of undoing your work in public?
Because
I mean,
it's one. I guess here's my thing. It's one thing when you got all the drivers saying, this sucks, we want more pay, this, give us this. Okay, get that. Not all the drivers want the same thing. Only the 5% they're complaining. But then you end up screwing over whatever you do ends up screwing over the drivers. But I always laugh at this because in my whole lifetime, I was even brought up under the premise in the bar and restaurant industry and everywhere, customer always comes first. On these platforms, they literally have the worst customer support. They don't really care about the customers. They pass on so many fees and things that you're not even seeing, that they're just ripping you off. And then when these cities get involved, it actually gets way worse. I mean, they actually look, nobody wants to go to sleep with a corporation and hug it all night. But some of us understand what they are, and that if you just allow them to operate freely, even though you can always find things to pick apart, but it gets so much worse. And this is the kind of proof that we see with what's going on in even Boston in 2 days.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you piss them off. And I'm not saying you have to let the beast rule, but you got to I guess you need to understand. You just need to understand economics on some level. It really is important. I feel like a lot of people don't. And I don't know, because now, now it's like, okay, we're hurting the drivers, we're hurting the customers. And now the only reason that the people above the pay up legislation on city council got involved is because they have now all of the restaurants on top of the platform saying, well, we're doing a lot less volume too, because we don't have the platforms getting as much. So every single thing, every facet is crushed by this.
Yep.
And it's not inflation. This is not inflation related. If inflation were fixed last week, this would still be happening under these laws. So I don't know how we got there. But at least it's time stamped in real time, because it's important. I mean, I don't understand how people can look at that kind of stuff and go, let's try that. Really? There's 4 parties involved, and every one of them is screaming right now. You got the drivers, the customers, the platforms, and the restaurants, and none of them are happy at all.
Perfect.
So wouldn't you think that once you have, I mean, if you have one of the 4 groups, it's hard enough to just base your findings on that. But if all 4 are against you, isn't it time to just toss it?
Well, the guy who profits then is the legislators, because they can take money from and promise solutions to every party, and then they'll re-up, and they don't want the problem to go away, because the problem is generating contributions for their campaigns. And who knows what else?
But I mean, usually, I don't know. Is it usual for a city to hurt their businesses and not care? That seems like the level where they'd come in no matter what.
Cities do that all the time. Ask a downtown businessman or woman. Like, is the city working in your best interest? Ha! Scoff. Nonsense. Yeah. Never. Haven't done that in 20 years. Sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't expect them to come and sweep their front doorway or anything nice, but I mean, this just seems like
pave their street, maybe.
Yeah, this just seems like way too far, though. I mean, you're talking about food. I mean, that's just one facet, but I mean, like, they're screaming about the fact of this legislation's bogus. The customers are paying for it, and they're seeing it as a line item. This is your stupid city council thing. And now we've added another stupid city council line item that's $2 in case you live 5 miles or more from the restaurant.
I think they hired someone from the cell phone industry to help them make their billing and their cost structure more complicated and beneficial. Guaranteed.
Well, the fees and details, unless stated in the state, you can't even get into. So you can never see that. That's where the untransparency at its best goes on. That's the black box right there. You can never. It's just an amount you don't know.
Well, we should wrap up with something positive. How's that? And
sorry, guys. That just happens.
The grouse came out. Third thing that really surprised me was that the video statements, the declaration that people in that like to be an independent contractor and greatly prefer it, is literally as simple as the election of self-employer status in labor law that we've proposed in our legislation. Literally, that's all you have to do. Actually, it's more work to make a video and say something and upload that, because all you have to do in the legislation is just toggle it and say, I choose to work as my own boss, and I get a token in return, a self-employment identification number to use on the work that I designate as independently contracted, and that will end the problem. And I didn't realize that by asking for the videos, we were asking for the same level of simple support that following the law could be obtained by proposing the law. So that made me very happy and very, very pleased.
But that brings up, we need more of these. Maybe we could do this, Mike. Maybe we could, when we upload the videos that people put, you keep mentioning these medallions. Maybe we could find a way to like put a fake little one in the corner for him.
Perfect.
Like a little avatar that says,
Great idea.
I am
Medallion
now a declared independent.
token. That's good. And we should put the link in there at the end too. Oh, okay. Plus link.
Oh, I'll put it in. Yeah, guys, in the description of the video is the link. Already is the link. So you can go in there. That's where you upload from.
Perfect.
So, but yeah, we'll try and get you guys those little stamps. That way you can we're halfway there. Maybe we can get government people to see it too and go, wait, it really is as easy as the token. Not just because we put an avatar on there, but get them really thinking. Because if the videos work, that visual might work too. Like, God, would it be that easy?
Yep. Well, some of the artists in the crew send us your token. What do you want to see on your certificate of independent contractor status?
Oh yeah, if you want, we can make your token your avatar. Just send us your picture.
We can
stamp it.
We can do it for flags. We can do it for tokens.
So
anyway,
yeah, but I was just thinking that might be. I mean, but at the same time, that's just a fun thought, guys. We do need you guys to upload, please, 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 please. And if you did upload already, because like Bud Soda, you did. Go Gig It, you did. I know you guys know other gig workers. When you see them, when you're picking up food and there's 8 other delivery drivers there, and I know you guys see this all the time. I do too. When there's 8 there, talk to them. Talk to them, and by next week, maybe I'll try and create a QR code that anybody can put on their phone in their pictures, and that way, if anybody scans it, they'll get taken to the Vloggy page.
Perfect.
To upload. Maybe we could do that. That seems like a reasonable thing. And then any gig worker could have that on them. Say, hey, make an independent. Would you do that? And if somebody who's waiting on food, somebody else says, sure. And they don't even know them, you can just show them that, let them scan to it. Boom. Because every one of you should be, let's be Amway for just a minute as we end this. So for every 5 people you get,
yes,
it's the only good pyramid scheme in town. It's
right. It costs nothing, and you get your freedom and your career and your income and your growth. So
right, and at the end, it just flattens and we're all equal. But we need you to get people under you. All right, guys.
Anyway.
I guess that's a wrap for the week. I just wanted to make sure we plug that because I know we have a couple times, and yet I know, and it's getting that time again. Let's get them flowing again. Real quick, Ron says, how can I view the independent contractor videos? You can view them on
Rumble.
Yep. And I think we were talking about moving them over to Be My Own Boss YouTube page.
Yeah,
too.
but if they want them right now, and they're all together, it's rumble.com. I just had this in my rumble.com/ and I think it's Venture Mike 1. And VENTURE MIKE 1. And there might be something else in that, but I think that's all you need, and all 28 of them are right there. Rumble has the best.
You guys, I'll add it to because I copy paste it every week. So that's why the upload link is already in the show notes. But I'll put the Rumble one in there too, just so you guys always have it. And it'll be pre-populated in the show description. So with that said, we gotta get out of here. We're like overtime and by 2. So thank you guys, and watch this week for parts 4 through 6.
Thank you, everybody.
The second half of all of this, and then that should be the whole piece put together. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.
Thanks, Steve. So long, everyone.